Women who bleed, well, we are the most luckiest women in the world. We get to shed old skin. We get to access truth. It is a path of wisdom and power that we have built in our body as a monthly guidance. Oh yes, men, they have to go off and do vision quests, for instance. We have been taught that it is an inconvenience to manage, to control, and definitely push through. But there are so many, it's like a map, and it's more than just knowing when you're pregnant or ready to be pregnant and when not. My name is Wen-Wei. Welcome to my Hearth. I am a woman's mentor and a cyclical wisdom teacher right here in Amsterdam. And I'm going to tell you an old Russian story. It's a story that helps you connect with your body. As the guidance system that it is, it's something that unfortunately has not been passed down. Our body knows it, but we have forgotten this truth. And so by the end of this video, well, I hope that you will see your menstrual cycle as a path of power and creativity, as soulhood and your truth. Not something to manage, but actually it's a doorway into your most powerful, truthful self. And so stay with me. We're going to go deep. So before we begin this story, it's very important to let you know that every character in the story is a part of your own inner psyche, because the soul speaks in symbolic language, not like the rationale. And when you listen, allow for each figure to move through you, to work with you, your psyche and your own life and your own cycle. Before I begin, I just want to let you know that when I told this story to my daughter, she much preferred this story than the one that we all grew up with. Come with me. A long time ago, there was a wonderful girl called Vasilisa the Beautiful. And she was found with her father standing over the deathbed of her mother, who on her dying breaths said, "Come here, my darling, come here." And she gave her daughter a doll. And she said, "My dear, feed the doll, speak to the doll, take care of the doll." And then at that point, her last breath escaped her, as if her spirit left her body, and she transferred to the other world. Vasilisa and her father grieved deeply. They were so very sad because the mother was a good mother. But it wasn't long until the father had remarried, and along with it, 3 other stepsisters arrived. Now, 2 faces. The mother and the sisters, well, they were very sweet and kind. But as soon as they turned around, a kind of a snarl, like a rat, would cover the face. They didn't like Vasilisa at all. She was like a little, I don't know, like a good girl, you know? So when they said, "Go and clean this, and go and fetch me that, and go and do that," Vasilisa would do it without any dispute. However, before she did any of her chores, she always consulted her doll. At night, she would feed the doll, speak with the doll, talk to the doll of what had happened during the day. And the doll, in return, would speak with her. Wow. As time passed, it wasn't that she was becoming run down because of all these chores, even though she had to sleep away from the fire in the cold. No. Her beauty grew. And the mother and the stepsisters, they became even more hateful and bitter and jealous. And then so one day they decided, that's it, we've had enough. We're going to get rid of Vasilisa. So they conspired. And when Vasilisa came home after carrying the wood, finding the wood for the house, she came in and see, the whole house was without fire, without warmth, cold and dark. What shall we do? What shall we do, stepmother? There's no fire to make food. There's no fire for the light. You stupid girl, she said. What do you think we're going to do? You are going to go into the forest and you are going to go to the Baba Yaga and you are going to collect fire from her because, yeah, I am too old to do this. And my daughters, well, one is too scared, the other one can't find her way, and the other one just can't think right. So it's all up to you. Let's take a pause here because let me tell you about the Baba Yaga. The Baba Yaga was very much known to test those. The Baba Yaga was also known that if you failed the test, she would eat those alive. And the mother and the sisters knew that they were sending Vasilisa to her death. So Vasilisa went into the forest, the deep, dark forest. She left that night. She had her doll with her, the only thing that she took with her. No food, nothing. She walked into the forest and realized this is the first time, ever so alone. Where was she heading? But she could feel that the doll was moving in her pocket. And when she touched the doll let her know which way to go, where to find food. She fed the doll too. Every time she found the food, she spoke with the doll. And then upon walking for many days already, upon the rising of the sun, she saw a brilliant white knight on a white horse come galloping by, and the sun had risen. She thought, what strange. And then another knight came riding by, red on a red steed, flaring nostrils with steam coming out, rushing past. And it was high noon in the sky. She consulted the doll. Are we still on the right way? And the doll said yes. And then, as night was coming and being expected, she saw another rider come past her, a black knight, completely black, on a black steed, sweat on the back of its hind legs as it rushed past her. And when it rushed past her, night had fallen. And she looked after the rider, and as she was walking towards where the rider had gone, she could see down into the valley lights. And when she asked the doll, she said, could this be the house of the Baba Yaga? And she shivered a bit when she asked, and the doll shivered in return and said yes. So Vasilisa had walked through the full spectrum of day and night, and she came to the void. This was Baba Yaga's house. And as she looked down, and as she walked down, and the lights became closer and closer, she noticed that Baba Yaga's house was no ordinary house. No. This house was built on chicken legs and hopped around everywhere. And never does it face the person who is coming until the person asks, and then the house will face them. And around the house was this eerie light. And as she became closer and closer, she saw that this light was made out of hundreds of skulls that was still attached to the spine, with fire coming out of the eyes and the nose and the ears. And she shivered. And in that moment, the Baba Yaga came out, not flying on a broom. No, she was flying in a black cauldron. And behind her, she would sweep away with a broom all the energy so to cover her tracks. Nobody could find her. What do you want, little girl? She said. She's licking her lips. And Vasilisa noticed that there were iron, yellow teeth coming out, and yellow, long, clawed fingers, bony hands, and her nose curved all the way down to touch the wart on her chin. And the wart on her nose was so big that if she were to lie back, well, the whole face would be touching the ceiling. And she looked at her. And Vasilisa felt the doll in her pocket, and she said, "Grandmother," she goes, my people need fire, need warmth. It's gone out. If I don't bring it, they will die. She goes, "I know your people," she says, "and you're stupid for letting the fire go out." She goes, "Well, and why should I give you fire?" She looked at her hungrily, and the doll jumped in the pocket. And the girl said, "Grandmother," she said, "because I ask." "And do you think," she said, right, thinking in herself, right answer. She goes, "Do you think I'm just going to give you fire? You must earn the fire." And Vasilisa said, "Of course." So the Baba Yaga brought her in front of a huge pile of dirt and corn. And she said, "You must sort the corn from the dirt by morning," she said, "because if you don't," she goes, "little girl, I will eat you up." Vasilisa scared as she looked at the pile, and she began to sift it through. And she began to cry quietly because it was impossible. Except the doll in the pocket said, "Sleep now, sleep. It will be done, sleep." And Vasilisa became drowsy and did fall into a sleep. Upon which the doll called the helpers of the forest and the animals and the mice and the birds and the unseen folk, the little people, to come, and they all helped. And by morning, the grandmother said, "Oh," she goes, "you've done this," she said. "Okay." She goes, "Well, you must cook it up for me so that I can eat." And Vasilisa had to cook and to cook and to cook because Baba Yaga was eating and eating and eating and eating with two hands. Right? By the end, Vasilisa needed to wash her clothes. Long, long, dirty clothes and undergarments and skirts and shirts, all by the river, which took the first night, the second night, the third night, and by the fourth, it was all done. She brought it back for the Baba Yaga. And she goes, "Oh, you did that. You managed that." And so Vasilisa, the third test again, she had to clean the house. But this house had infinite number of rooms. One led on to another, led on to another. It was like a maze within a maze. And she felt quite desperate because if she did not clean the house by the morning, she would be eaten. And the doll said again, "Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep." And when the Baba Yaga returned, the house with its many rooms, spotless, she goes, "Ah." And then the girl was looking at the disembodied hands that were floating through, because the disembodied hands were the Baba Yaga's servants. And Baba Yaga saw her and said, "Do you have any questions for me, little girl?" And Vasilisa said, I do, grandmother." She goes, "I saw a white rider on a white horse and a red one and a black one too. Who are they?" She goes, "Oh," she goes, "they are my morning." She goes, "They're my day and they're my night. They are mine." And as she said that, one of the riders flipped out of a huge box, like a treasure box, and went galloping out the door, and it became high noon. She goes, "Do you have any more questions for me?" she said, kind of smacking her lips with a twinkle in her eye, upon which the doll was jumping. And Vasilisa said, "No, grandmother, I do not have any more questions, because as you have said that asking too many questions makes you old before your day." She goes, "Right answer." She goes, "You know, who taught you?" She goes, my mother gave me blessings." Upon which the Baba Yaga was like, "I will have none of these blessings here." And she shooed her out the door, and she handed her this massive skull on a stick, which Vasilisa took, and it was heavy. And she walked back the way she came. And it became heavier and heavier and heavier. And she said, "No, I cannot." And the doll jumped in her pocket, said, No, you must." She goes, No, I will not." And the doll insisted. Vasilisa was so tired. She goes, I don't need this anymore. But the doll told her, no, you must take it. And one night, the stepsisters by the window saw a light coming from the forest. Oh, what could be this? And as it came closer, they saw what this light was. And they came closer and closer and closer. And they, Mom, the mother, she said, Mother, Mother, Mother. And the mother came. The door opened and Vasilisa came in. And they all looked shocked because there she was with this skull, burning flames and light. She goes, whew, she said, I've done it. I've brought home the fire. They didn't know. Oh, Vasilisa, you must come in. You must come. We were so worried about you. We thought, what could have happened to you? You know, we were desperately worried for you. And as they sat in the living room, the skull followed all the sisters where they needed to go. When they walked, the skull would look and follow them all. And by morning, there were 4 piles of ashes. Has survived such a long time. I'm so grateful to have ever heard it, because it's holding something that women need to remember, right? We are not at a disadvantage because we bleed every month. This is like an initiation that we get to have so that we become more in our power, more in our energy, more in our wisdom. Wisdom is power. More in our strength, more in our discernment to see what is true, sifted away from what is false, and in connection with our own body and our intuition. Because a woman who does not do descent journey doesn't do it with a choice, right? She will not go and face her wounds. She will not go and face her shadow, because that is what the cyclical wisdom actually initiates in us, so that we become this Vasilisa, let's say, reborn. Well, let me just tell you what women go through who don't do this descent journey. Women who don't descend, people pleases, says yes when they mean no, is the good girl, is absolutely exhausted from doing everything for everybody, acknowledges only things from the outside in, needs the validation from the outside in, lost her inner compass. Maybe she doesn't know what she wants or where she's going, or no, she needs other people to tell her. She stays on a surface level, and she might take on roles or perform instead of really embody and be. She takes on everybody's burdens. She makes sure that everybody else is okay. There is no discernment for herself, for what is true and false. She is creating from conditioning, from the outside in, and does not realize it. She asks others what she should or should not do. She has no true inner power. She will not go into the dark to get it. She won't face it. She will bounce off herself and indulge, or won't go towards that. This is what happens when you stay innocent, which, by the way, is very much supported in the outer world, young women and their innocence. But that's for another story. When you refuse to face your truth and your shadow, Baba Yaga tests you. You want such a testing, because otherwise, believe me, I'm so smart that I can just delusion myself. So life tests you, the Baba Yaga tests you, your cycle tests you. You want to be tested. Nothing in the wild, and as a woman's wildish nature is the wild, is untamable. Nothing in the wild survives without testing, not even the trees. During wintertime, the wood on the outside has to harden so that the wood on the inside stays soft and loving, and from there it grows. You see? The scars are something not to be ashamed of, but they are stories that you have healed. I love my crow's feet. There are stories I can tell and I can heal with other people, pass it on to those that are lost. You see? So what does this descent journey, what does it give you? Okay, here we go. When you descend, it gives you discernment. You are able to see what's true and what's not, what takes from you and what gives to you. You are with energy. So not just wasting it out and throwing it out everywhere. Because you have discernment, you know how to manage your energy. It's very important. Do you want to have a life that is full of creativity and full of your ideas? You have wisdom, and wisdom apply. Wow, wisdom is power. And they don't tell you this either, you know. Lived wisdom, nobody can take from you. You begin to know this. You are this. You have power, okay? So power like the skull with the burning eyes, you know? You don't take any foo-foo from anybody anymore. You can sense it. You know the difference. You know when to step out, when not to step out. Light that burns away what is not true. Yeah. You have truth and authenticity. Because when you create in a world that's not from a truthful place, you create things that are not fulfilling in the end. That's why the most successful people out there maybe are unfulfilled in the end. You see, feel like emptiness. And here's what's really important to come back to. You have to go to the forest. The forest has a deep meaning. And they told you, we were all told to stay away from the deep, dark forest, by the way. The forest is like the descent, and then you return. You see, you always return. And this is cyclical wisdom that they don't tell us. We grow up in a world that's like, there's only life and there's only death, right? But that's not true. In cyclical wisdom, and what women know, and we have not been given, all right, is that there is life and death and rebirth. You need to have the death, and we don't talk about it. We all don't want to have winter or autumn and any of that. And yet that is the feminine half of the cycle, right? The masculine half is light, spring and summer, and then we have autumn and winter. You know, we want the death. Every poet, every artist knows that if you dance with Lady Death, you are a very lucky person, right? Here comes the creativity, and creativity has like the soul. We are here to create, to be in relationship with, to share what it is that we have created from the inside is an amazing feeling. Not regurgitated, not copy-pasted, not this. When you do something that's yours, watch what happens. And I'm not talking poetry and foo-foo. I mean it seriously. Your creation could be anything from business to motherhood, to cooking, to creating house. Anything is a creation. And if it comes from your true self, it is fulfilling. It's not just a fleeting happiness. It is lasting fulfillment. So that every day I wake up, even on an off day, I am happy to be creating here for you. So this is the gift that Baba Yaga brings you. This is the gift of being tested. It's like a shamanic warriorhood shit for women, you know, for want of better words. It is the Baba Yaga, what she gives to you. It is something that is very much welcomed. It may be an indigenous tribes and old wisdom for women. So how does this look like in your actual life? Well, let's walk the path of Vasilisa, okay? So when you look at your menstrual cycle, not just when to give birth and not to give birth, it is actually what I was talking about, the great life cycle. Life, death, rebirth. Life, death, life. Sun, noon, night, sun again. Seasonal wisdom. Everything is a cycle. Everything is a spiral. Nothing is straight and keep on going and keep on producing and keep on. That's man-made, you know? So the cycle is here to help you create so that you know, when it is that we feel like chaotic, we're like, oh my God, everything. And then you get your period, you get your bleed. Well, there you go. And the cycle teaches you to honor it because it takes you where you want to go. It takes you where you need to go. And not where the ego wants to go, but where your soul wants to go, where your truth wants to go. So it strips you of anything that's performative and not true, and it returns you to yourself. So in nature, this is creation itself. Women, we carry this in. We are life bringers. We are honored. I love to say, I've been taught by a Hopi grandmother, and the women are considered to be life bringers. The cycle and a woman's bleeding moment is reverent. The blood is considered reverent, not something disgusting to throw away. So you have the cycle, everything rises, right? It gains energy, ooh, it goes to a zenith, and we all want to stay at the zenith, huh? We all want to be like, ooh, yeah, all the ecstasy, but you're gonna burn yourself out. It's not good for you, okay? So then there has to be a decline, right? A decay, an emptying out, right? So it's fullness, and then it's going empty, empty. It needs to happen. You need to have some old ideas let go for new ones to come, right? And then we have the death. Has to happen too. Without the death, there is no life. Then there is the incubation. You think life is dawn and dormant and nothing's happening, but there is much happening in a seed when it is incubating, as there is much happening in winter when we ought to be taking rest, as there is much happening the moment that we get our bleed. Actually, in some traditions, it's considered the most powerful moment. Actually, my teacher told me it was the most grounded you'll ever be as a woman, right? And it's true. Yes, we are a little bit in a trance state. We have to be. Yes, another teacher said to me, you don't do your taxes then. No, absolutely not. You know? And when you can follow this seasonal rising and falling, this cyclical wisdom in your own cycle, you know when it's time to create something. You know that visioning happens when we bleed. Rest happens when we bleed. We allow the body to release, you know, and the pain and it talks to us. It tells us where we have been compromising ourselves in any way. Afterwards, there is the rising again of energy. There is the moving outward again. There's the fulfilling. And we get to create every single month into a bigger creation of the year, because there's a cycle in the year, as we might have even in a day, right? So this is conscious creativity, or no, conscious creating, right? I'm not talking about manifesting. I'm talking about from the inside out, not overriding your body in any way, shape, or form, which for me, gonna call it out, I think manifesting is, you know? Creation is with the body. Cyclical wisdom. You don't override it. So, is death necessary? Oh, absolutely it's necessary, you know? And our bleed time is this moment. And we are not taught to have a relationship with Our Lady Death. We are taught to fear death. And in other cultures, it's very much a topic to talk about, to embody, to know, to be. You see? So what dies? Your false self dies. Your ego self dies. The not true bits die. That's what dies. We want this because otherwise we're living a life of what? Burnout. Superficial. We cannot make connections. Cannot relate. So important to relate. We're not here on an island on ourselves. We're not. We're here. Woman's quality is to create community. It was never, ever a woman's quality to be in competition, and we have thousands of years of that. No, it is to uplift one another. That is a woman's quality, to be in relationship with, to create relationship, to be in and know of our connections. Then you are feeling safe in the world around you, safe in your body, safe in the world. You know when not to do because you're working against yourself. I have many women coming in, burnout, anxiety. That's not necessary, you know? So every month, your bleed is a chance to know who you truly are, to take away what's the falsities of what's not yours. And you can't bypass this. You don't want to bypass this because bypassing just pushes the inevitability away until you get sick. Now your body protests. We are approaching the darkest night of the year. The solstice is coming. And it is actually the zenith for the feminine, right? There's a term that I learned from a very beautiful cantadora called Clarissa Pinkola Estes, and it just touched me. It's called The Dangerous Old Woman, Baba Yaga, right? But this is what she said, and I paraphrase. She said, the dangerous woman, she'll take somebody and say, stand in my danger. She will protect where she needs to protect that needs to be staying alive in the world. Your soul. Because that is actually what's being predated on. And she'll put it behind you and she'll say, you stand in my danger. That means be protected. That means she will protect and stand. You will stand in her danger. It's a beautiful old expression. And what the descent journey does, what wintertime does, is it strips you completely bare. It humbles you so that you strip away the ego and the falsities. That means, like, for instance, staying productive over winter, keeping going, skipping the darkness, always wanting to stay happy and light and not look. We are all of it. We are both light. We are both dark. And we will know where the truth lives. So it is humbling experience. And it's important because the ego is grandiose, you know? And you can't control a descent, but you know what you can do is you can fight against it, or you can surrender into it. And you can't perform your way through it in any role, way, shape, or form. And the Baba Yaga, the winter time, our menstruation, the time of our bleed, is a guide, not something to curse or manage. So you show up, you're willing. That's all it takes. It's just being willing. You allow, you feel what needs to be felt, maybe without the stories. You listen, you channel the emotions, not rip somebody else's head off, you know. And Solstice asks you this wintertime, well, what isn't mine to carry? What have I been carrying that's not mine? And what kind of roles exhaust me? Am I performing anywhere? Or is this really coming from a true place? Maybe where do I need to be humbled, right? Wintertime is time of reflection. It's important because if you don't reflect, you're just going to be making the same mistakes, which is what's happening in the world. You know, we're not taking time to slow down and ask ourselves, what part of this where I find myself in, what part of this, what choices have brought me here? You see? That is empowered, embodied thought and wisdom. And so you know what? Let's walk this forest together. Before we end this, and you can stop here because I would love to share a little bit of a guided, just a short guided couple of minutes of meditation, but it's not a meditation. It's more like a guided journey. So if you're open for this, then I invite you to close your eyes and to place your hand on your womb space. And I say womb space because some women have had their womb or their ovaries removed. And with your eyes closed now, I'm just going to let you know that this force of nature that we carry inside of ourselves can never just be removed. So connect in with this energy that is yours. And how do you do that? Well, that's why I place my hands on my womb space, because I found it in the beginning very hard to breathe in there because I was too used to breathing in the heart space, in the chest, and suck in my stomach. So just breathe in there. And all you have to do is allow the breath to come into a soft belly. Soft. Soften it. Soften the root muscles. Soften the perineum muscle. Soften. That's all. And then you can just ask your wisdom, okay? You ask her, what test and challenge is mine right now? Don't overthink it. Just listen. What is trying to come through? Again, just listen. Out of all the thoughts you can have, you have those images and feelings and knowings. That's yours, out of the millions of thoughts. So you can't do this wrong. And what does my body know that I have been avoiding? Now listen. Because when you're listening, what's happening is the doll is speaking to you. You're knowing. You're knowing. And then allow yourself to speak aloud and say, I am willing to be tested. I am willing to see. And I am willing to let whatever false burn away from me. And I wish it for you, and I wish it for me, and I wish it for everybody. And just breathe. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes, and I welcome you back. So thank you for being with me. This is the wisdom that I teach. Cyclical wisdom, understanding that life is not a straight line. It's very much a spiral. And not to be afraid of the dark. To see in the dark, in fact. And brings you back to your true self and your empowerment. What I'm about is also embodied ethics. We don't create bypassing the body. Oh, we don't bypass. We face. We move away from overwhelm and victimhood and all this, and we move into centeredness and being and presence. It's great to create from this place. And a ritual as medicine. Yes, I'm a therapist. Yes, I'm a guide and a mentor. But ritual as medicine, wow, that's the descent journey in itself. We'll start there with the ritual. And it's creating a space for a testing and a return. And so if you're in Amsterdam, then as of February 2026, in a beautiful yurt made by a wonderful woman, we will be holding moon lodges again. And they are where women come together. We share this ritual, cyclical wisdom. We do this together so that our voices can be heard. So this is nearly 10 years now that I've been doing this. And I've had a bit of a break for those of you that know out there. And for those of you that don't, come and join in February. I also do one-on-one sessions, live and online. For those of you that are abroad, you're more than welcome to tap in. And if you'd like more information, I'll put a link below. You can see my website is rest2flow.com. And my work is trauma-informed. It is somatic-based. It is intuitive, heartfelt, and very conscious. And if you like this, then please hit the like button. I'm doing this all on my own. And please subscribe and share this with those that need to hear this kind of wisdom, and so that you can be held and we can create together what is wholesome and what is truthful and real. So thank you so much for joining in. And before I leave, I also want to let you know that I have, forgot to say that I have Sunday letters, private Sunday letters. You can subscribe on my email to receive these, and in there I share wisdom and journeys, MP3s and videos. I share wisdom that I don't share on any other platform. You can also catch me on Instagram, but this will be my Hearth, and for more deeper wisdom. Leave a comment below. I would love to know what you think of this, how this has felt for you, and maybe you know this story and maybe you have, I don't know, add-ons. I would just love to hear it. I always read the comments anywhere where I am, or from my emails or things. I always respond. So wherever you are, from my heart to yours, thank you and bless you.